All right, so now we got this movie called Lesson Plan. So you got this guy by the name of Damian, right? He's supposed to be working with a bunch of like people that sell drugs and cars and things of that nature. But they found out there's a rat in the circle. So they realize it's Damian, but they start getting the beef, and you already know what it's time for the action. What happens is they'll take it out the big criminal, but the big criminal guy says, yeah, we know where you live at though. And a wife by the name of Carolina. So he goes back to the house and finds out they end up murdering Carolina. She done did that shit. So a year later, more crimes go by, and all of a sudden they talk about these people in the school. And the police end up trying to call the guy Damian because Damian was an undercover cop. And throughout that whole year, he's been fucked up. You know what I'm saying? He's been drinking and drugs and alcohol, things of that nature, because obviously he still misses his wife. So then we find out this dude by the name of Simon gets killed that happens to be working in the school. Simon was Damian's best friend. So at this point, Damian decided he didn't want to do shit. He was just all fucked up, you know what I'm saying? Messed up in his mental, you know what I'm saying? Depression and everything like that. Once he finds out about Simon and realizes it's all related to drugs and things of that nature, he's going to take the case. He's going to go as an undercover cop, but pretend, you know what I'm saying, be a school teacher. So he goes to the school, he's talking to the principal, and like one of the people that really rocks him is this chick named Agatha. Now she works as a supervisor for the school too. You got science instructors and things like that, but he's posing as a history teacher. Now this guy named Camille, he's the only one that knows he's an actual cop. Now why does he know that? Because Simon was his father. So they know each other real well. So now this school is one of the worst schools in Poland, basically because it's all influenced by drugs and people doing stuff, whatever like that. Now he finally gets in his class and he's interrupted by this guy by the name of Frogface. My thing is, he's supposed to have graduated a while ago, but he still keeps coming to the class. Now then after a while, they had to escort this guy out the class. So we found out in the long run, this guy Frogface works for this gang that, whether they had the evidence or not, has had some type of inclusion into the reason why Simon was killed. Now they got this like gym teacher named Kaminsky. He's trying to make sure he's doing his job, keeping the peace or whatever like that, but come to find out, this guy is actually the leader of this gang that's been selling drugs in the schools. Now, the only reason why Damian even commits to this is because he's thinking to himself, like, the type of drugs and stuff that they're selling or whatever like that, they don't believe kids are behind it. They believe somebody's above that is behind the situation. So it comes to a situation where Agatha's about to get attacked by Frog facing these people, whatever like that. But, I mean, Damian comes through and saves the day. And Agatha starts getting real close with him. They have drinks and stuff like that. They end up going back to our house. They end up kissing. You like, all right, he about to do. But then he gets these flashbacks about Carolina. So you're thinking to yourself, he's like, I don't want to get too close to people. I don't want them getting hurt. So he ends up dipping out. So as she's getting wine, she sees that he's gone. She's thinking to herself like, what the fuck happened? But she don't know the situation. So throughout the days, we see these other kids are just like chilling, whatever like that. But this gang keeps influencing them and things of that nature. They feel like they can't stop this gang. So one of the kids in there, he's like a special martial artist or whatever like that, but Damian's still teaching him the ropes or whatever like that. So he's like, all right, we're going to have a friendly competition, sparring and things of that nature. And it gets to a point where these kids want to defend themselves, but they don't know how to defend against this gang. So Damian's going to teach them the ropes. So they get this little dojo or whatever. And they learning their skills from Damian through this little weak-ass dojo. I mean, they clean up to make it look nice and things of that nature, but bottom line is they rock it with the boy. So Damian been trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying, some information that's going on in school, because clearly he's thinking to himself it's about to be an inside job, it's not an outside job, because it's like, well, these teens are not being able to sell fentanyl and do all this other stuff by nature. It's like, all right, somebody's facilitating this shit on a higher scale. He ends up whipping some more ass. These motherfuckers getting tired of him. We got to figure out some way to, you know, stop all this shit and get him up out of there. So then they run into this chick by the name of Emily, right? Now, Emily is Camille's best friend or whatever like that. Now, throughout the weeks, Agatha feels some type of way because it's like, yeah, Damian kind of brushed her off and things of that nature. So it's like, yo, he's just trying to work on things, but he's also helping out this dojo, people learning shit. Then it gets to a point where we see this gang, they're coming over to these guys. He's like, yo, I'm trying to fix this watch or whatever like that. And the dude's like, hey, I know what you about. I'm going to call the cops. Turns around, he's got to chill out. And then we find out this guy is actually Emily's dad. So then, you know what I mean, they go over here and the sole purpose is like to let them know, like, hey, man, he has this watch he's trying to fix, but the watch is actually Simon's watch, letting us know that they're the ones that killed Simon. So they basically persuade her because they're basically threatening to kill her dad. So what does she do? They come to school next day. Everybody's looking all down. She goes along with the situation to make it feel like Damian was the one that sexually assaulted Emily. You know what I'm saying? Now, Emily knows she didn't want to do it, but bottom line is they threatening her dad. So they basically suspend him, get him out to school, whatever like that. So the gang is thinking to themselves like, all right, we got this fucker out the way. So basically at this point, he's got to do his own investigation. He goes to this random different spot, you know what I'm saying? And he finds out the scientist that he was cool with or whatever like that in the situation, he's actually the one helping out this gang with all this fentanyl and stuff like that because he's the one that kind of facilitated it. He thought he had information on camera, but he didn't have enough information, so therefore it still seems kind of invalid, but not really valid. So when Damian goes to talk to the principal about it, everybody's like, look, man, we ain't do all this, that, third. But the scientist is sitting right next to Kaminsky about it. And because they don't have a whole lot of proof, he can't really prove nothing. But Agatha feels some type of way because now she's trying to figure out exactly what's the deal with Damian. So some way or another, Agatha finds out that Damian's actually telling the truth about the situation. So she apologizes about everything or whatever like that, but not before going to see Emily. So Emily once again goes to see Damian, tries to figure out the real deal, whatever like that. Damian tells her what's really going on. He's an undercover cop, blah, blah, blah. So she's apologizing and everything like that. Bottom line is, she clapping the cheeks get clapping, and that's what's happening. Give it the business. So now Damian gotta find these niggas once and for all, but you thinking to yourself, how's he gonna do that? He ends up talking to the guy Frogface again, who ended up getting beaten the fuck up because of money being lost and this is that third. He been in the hospital. So afterwards he goes back to the school, but then he finds out another situation took place. So now all the people in this dojo are running to the hospital over like that. Turns out Emily was get beat the fuck up. She was in a coma. So now Agatha is going to do everything she can to try to help out the situation. It turns out she ends up finding Simon's old plans or whatever like that to the offices or registration or whatever the case may be. Basically like a map. And she's like, bottom line, I know you a kung fu ass kicking roddy ass nigga, but bottom line is I'm still going to help you out because I found the plans and information, so you ain't going there without me. So they end up going to this facility. Before they go there, whatever like that, they end up finding a doctor. The doctor's like, yo, I had to do this. I had no choice. They was going to kill my wife. And they was threatening my family, da-da-da. Before you can finish the statement, Kaminsky comes through in their motorbike. He ends up blasting the goddamn doctor. He's done deal that shit. And I guess he ran out of bullets because he couldn't keep firing at Damian because he was hiding behind the car or whatever. And he just looks at him and then dips off. I'm like, you have enough bullets? You only have one gun? So bottom line, the shit gets really real, and then it comes to a situation where it comes to the four plans and all this other stuff, and then Damian and Agatha end up going to the real spot trying to figure out what's Gucci. Now you got this one other dude named Chris that's supposed to be part of the gang. He's been like trying to get in there since the beginning. So when they get to the spot, they're all crowded around with the gang or whatever like that. You got Kaminsky there, but you think to yourself, is he really the man of the operation? Then we find somebody in a black coat. Turns out the guy in charge of the whole operation was actually the principal himself. Then all of a sudden we see the dude that was supposed to be with the gang or whatever like that. Turned out he snitched the whole situation and he brought some help. So he's like, what the hell was he bringing? He's bringing the dudes that was in the dojo classes with Damian, whatever like that. Now it's a fair fight. Now everybody's out here whipping ass and doing what they gotta do. One-on-one fight, Damian against Kaminsky, whatever like that. They go back and forth, it's beef, whatever like that. Camille comes out of nowhere and then Kaminsky ends up getting duffed out. So now they got to find the principal. It turns out the principal ends up having Agatha in the arms, you know what I'm saying? He about to bang off on her. But Damian taught her a few moves whenever you get caught behind the back. So basically, she ends up hitting him in his gut, trying to turn him around. But the thing is, he still had a gun in his hand. Damian gets to drop on this nigga, done deals him, deaths him, you know what I'm saying? You think he's dead as shit, right? So he's trying to make sure that Agatha safe. All of a sudden, the principal turns around, he wakes up, he's about to shoot. And then this tractor comes out of nowhere, dumps a whole bunch of gnomes on this nigga. He's like, done deal, dead as shit, right? Now, who was the one that ended up in the tractor to drop the trolls or whatever like that? Turns out it was Camille. They stopped some more drug trades. They went to everybody's candy ass. The police came and everything's all good and gravy. And that's lesson plan for you. Oh no, I explained it the best I could, but bottom line is the shit's real. I mean, they don't speak in English. I mean, it's in Poland or whatever like that. But I say check it out anyway because the joint is legit. You know what I'm saying? Lesson plan on Netflix. Check it out.